I'm Aaron from the Pickleball Clinic. I'm here with Tyson McGuffin, the most electrifying man in sports. He's from Idaho. He played tennis in college, then he taught tennis for 8 years, then he found pickleball. He's a 5-time national champion, 5-time Grand Slam champion, current top 10 men's doubles player, top 3 singles player, former #1 player in the world. Thanks so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you, boys.
So you have an incredibly electrifying brand. You're an incredibly electrifying person. Is this personality, is this vibe something you've always had, or something that's really developed over your years becoming a star and a pro athlete?
Yeah, so youngest of 7, grew up in a wrestling family, found tennis at the age of 12, fell in love with it, played some college tennis and all that. And I think, the last couple of years with, having 4 kids and all the above, and I think I've just found like a better version of myself, and I've really been comfortable in my own skin, and kind of with that has grown some personality, if you know what I mean. For the longest time, I was rocking a mullet, had the mustache going on. I've just tried to be true to my brand. That's something that was important to me since day one. And being authentic, I've been very authentic with content. I've really put myself out there with a wide range of content, educational videos, podcasts. Now we have this whole new YouTube channel called Making McGuffins, and I've been very consistent on socials. So, I think with that, it's made me very, very marketable, and it's brought on a decent amount of brand deals. But I honestly feel like, not to throw shade at the pickleball industry or pro players, but I think, there's not a whole lot of personality out there. So I wanted to put a stamp on that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And obviously anytime that I'm on championship court, the end goal is to get W's, is to kick ass out there and bring a certain level, but also like be engaging with fans, be the biggest entertainer out there, and just have some fun. Because at the end of the day, I'm only getting older, the sport's getting younger. So I'm going to go out on a limb where I'm having a freaking good time.
Yeah, and I really want to dive deep into that too, because your brand is incredible. You've done a lot to really solidify that, and there's so many young players coming into the game trying to distinguish themselves, trying to differentiate themselves. What sort of advice would you give to somebody trying to build their brand? Mainly pickleball players, but any athlete, how to figure out what about you is the components that you should use to build your personal brand, and then how to actually, get the balls to go out and do it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think just having a pretty good idea of your strengths, of your weaknesses, have a pretty good idea of your identity as well, and don't be afraid to throw content out there. I think there's so many athletes that don't want to pull the trigger with being authentic with content, or maybe it's like a little too curated, and so. Yeah, I just think being true. I think people can, fans out there, brands can totally sense if you're true with content. Also, too, I've surrounded myself with a lot of good people. I definitely don't take full credit. I have a wife who's an entrepreneur. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in my inner circle that I've gained a bunch of knowledge from. So I've used a lot of resources. And I was the type of kid where I barely go to class growing up, kind of coasted all throughout high school just so I could play tennis, coasted all throughout college so I could play tennis. And so when push came to shove and it was time to put my big boy pants on and start my own business, which actually happened over COVID. So honestly, COVID kind of made me. Before COVID, I was working for a pickleball camp company called Level Up Pickleball Camps, which is owned by the Pickleball magazine. Wayne Dollard, shout out to Wayne Dollard. He's done a great job with that business. But I was sitting on my ass there in Coeur d'Alene during COVID thinking, what the heck am I going to do for a couple months? I ended up reaching out to a videographer. We filmed K-Mac and I. You guys know Kyle McKenzie. Kyle McKenzie is the host of my podcast. Is in all my educational videos. Commentates for PPA, commentates for MLP, coaches MLP, and now he's my full-time coach. We got together and filmed like 150 educational videos. I was going to go like a pay-based portal route and get people to pay for my content and do the whole video library subscription-based platform. But I personally felt like my following wasn't big enough. I wasn't quite cool enough. The sport was still fairly young, 2020. And so we thought, hey, like, let's just, content is king. Let's go free with it and see what this does. And so we got the YouTube channel going. We started with the educational videos. We bought all the podcast equipment, started the podcast, and then got the camp business rolling, got all of our logos made. And now here we are, and we're 4 years later, and the camp company is rocking and rolling. Subscribers is growing on YouTube, and love Kyle, but Kyle was more of like a top 30, top 40 guy. So he really wasn't known back in 2020. And my whole goal, knowing just how educated and how good Kyle was from a teaching standpoint, and obviously as a person, my whole goal was to really build him up on the YouTube channel. And obviously, now he's rocking and rolling, commentating, MLP, all the above. And so I brought him on this year full time. He's my full time full-time coach in my corner. I think the sport is in a position now where we're starting to see players kind of bring on a team. And so now you'll see me at a PPA tournament, and I have the whole entourage. I have a full-time videographer, I got my strength coach, I have my wife, and I have K-Mac in my corner.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So basically, build a great team around you, give value, as Gary Vee would say, jab, 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 right hook.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So, all right, another question. When we think about the Mount Rushmore of pickleball, you're obviously up there with the Yates and the Johns and the Simones, and but there was a point where you and Ben and a couple of the names were dominating everything. And now we got all these big names coming up and new players coming in. So you're still at the top of the game, but what are you doing to try and keep up with all this new talent to stay at the top?
Yeah, so obviously the talent is only getting younger. I used to be, one of the most athletic guys out there. Now there's a different athlete and a different animal that's coming in the game, if you know what I mean. So yeah, obviously the money's starting to get good now. Brands are really starting to invest in the industry and in certain players, and I'm just trying to be relevant for as long as I can. And like what I mentioned before, I'm just adding more to my team. I have a full-time health team that does all my lab work. I'm taking all the right supplements. I'm eating the right way. I've been clean and sober now for like the last 18 weeks. And so I'm just trying to go out and do everything right. And I feel like if I go into tournaments knowing that I've done everything right training-wise and my body feels good, I have a full-time therapist as well. Mentally, if I'm dialed, not too much can go wrong out there. And if I can trust the man above, nothing can touch me. So I think, yeah, just back to the theme of trusting my team, adding people in. And, the last 2 years I've been training as a full-time pro now. Like my normal day back in Coeur d'Alene looks like I'm up by 5. I do hot and cold in the morning, 30 minutes in the sauna, 5 minutes in the plunge, take my 2 protein shakes, get to yoga, hour of hot yoga, strength training for an hour and a half, big breakfast, and I'm practicing twice a day. And I feel like I'm like investing so much in my body. I think as an athlete, like your body, is kind of sounds corny, but your body's a temple.
Yeah.
And you got to freaking treat it like a temple, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, spiritually, mentally, physically, if I'm there, I feel like I'm a freaking dangerous man.
And just another thing I want to throw in, because I have a couple questions left, but I want to go off script because something's coming to my mind. And I just want to spit it out, which is, you're so authentic. You say what's on your mind, whether it's the team and everything, and about brand deals, or whether it's clean and sober. Like, you say what you're thinking, you say what the truth is. I feel like pro athletes, creators, authenticity is hard to find. How important is it for you to be authentic, say it like it is, and just be true with your audience?
Well, it's not difficult because it comes from a certain place in my heart, and I feel like it's very true. So, and I think back to the theme of like knowing your identity and just being comfortable in your own skin, I think goes a long ways in life, whether it's business, relationships, marriage, and as an athlete, something that brands are looking for, something that fans are looking for, is athletes out there that are just being true to themselves.
Yep. So what's the vision for Tyson McGuffin 10 years from now?
Yeah, I got a lot of things in the works. Got the camp business rocking and rolling. We're looking to really grow the vlog channel. We're looking to kind of grow in all aspects. I have a teaching certification coming out that's going to kind of piggyback with the camps. And the end goal would be to try to stay in the industry and to stay playing as long as I can. I mean, that's plan A. But when I'm all said and done with that, if I can commentate a little bit, great. But honestly, I'm hoping there's enough streams coming in, and I've set myself up the right way, whether it's through equity deals, through royalty deals. But we're really trying to like align ourselves with good brands that can take me global and really just kind of open up the door.
Yeah. And so you touched on it, but in addition to a player personality, a brand builder, you're a coach, and you have a saying that I find very valuable. I'd love you to touch upon it. No premature attackulation. So I'd love to kind of hear what is the thesis behind that?
Yes, I think there's a lot of male players out there that like to speed up at the wrong time, and I think just being aware of shot awareness, being aware of shot selection, speeding up at the right time. There's plenty of times while I'm teaching camps, and I use that term. Make sure there's no premature attackulation, and basically it means that you were just speeding up at the wrong time. You're thinking speed up and hero, or you're thinking one shot wonder. And usually anytime we speed up, the ball comes back. So I'm a huge believer in speeding up and then cleaning up. If you're not ready for the second one, don't hit the first one. No premature attackulation. If you guys want to come to my camp, come get McGuffin or come get K-Mac, you guys can sign up on TysonMcGuffin.com. We run camps all over the country. And I can't talk about it now, but we're partnering up with somebody or a brand that's going to take our camps global. And so hopefully here in the next year or so, we can be doing camps all over the world.
So basically, stay in the Dink Rally. The longer you last, the more enjoyable it's going to be for you. And anyway.
And, something I say too is gentlemen, keep it in your pants. Okay, keep it in your pants because at the end of the day, so many points are being won by unforced errors. And, as we know at the highest level, the teams that are on the podium, the teams that are very successful, the teams that have been at the top forever, do it the right way. They're disciplined. They play by the book. And at the end of the day, you can force your opponents to self-destruct just by putting dinks in play and not over-speeding, even though it is nice to be the hero.
Yep. All right, 2 more questions. This one is more of an intimate question, but something I really want to ask about. You won the 2019 U.S. Open. You took the singles title on the anniversary of your dad's passing. I just wanted to ask, how did that feel? How was the motivation that day? And that's just, probably an incredible
for sure,
experience.
man. Honestly, that was probably like one of the most spiritual days of my life. I had not beat Ben for like a solid 6 or 8 months, and I had demons, going to bed at night. I had nightmares going to bed, or while I was sleeping, and it was tied around the whole theme of like I couldn't find a way to freaking get a W over that man. Obviously, Ben's the ultimate go to the game. And there were certain things I was working on in my game to try to exploit in his game, but it seemed like months and months, it just wasn't working. And I truly felt like on that given day, U.S. Open, can't remember like the exact day, it was hotter than snot that day. It was humid as could be. Always in Naples, U.S. Open, it's blowing 30 miles an hour, and usually like the if you can win at the U.S. Open, you are one tough son of a gun because it is tough to win there. And I just felt like my dad was in that corner all day long. There was somebody that was bigger than myself looking down, giving me certain powers and like allowing me to play out of my head. And I kid you not, when I was playing Ben in the finals, that ball went from like the size of a pickleball to like the size of a watermelon. And it stayed there all day long. And I give credit to my dad. And honestly, that was probably one of the better days in my career.
Question I always ask to any pro I interview, definitely want to ask you, why do you love pickleball?
The community aspect, how social it is, how I can see a Karen who can barely walk and chew gum at the same time, go from a 3-0 to a 3-5 in a matter of a 2-day camp. And just how like accessible it is, how easy it is to play. And I can't tell you how many cool people I've met along the journey.
Hey man, appreciate you. Keep killing it. You're a legend.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.